So this was a few days ago. We've got the official green light of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Now, the negative is it is at Prime Video. However, there's a few things which go positively. Prime Video doesn't exclusively make dog shit, right? They've made Reacher and they've made The Terminal List. Two absolutely fantastic shows.
Jack Ryan, it was really good on there.
Exactly. They don't exclusively make garbage, right? And these are current day people projects, right? It's not like it was an old guard, and the current projects. Terminal List is getting a second season. It's not suddenly going to go garbage agenda, right? It's still going to be good. So Amazon Prime is not necessarily a major red flag. One of the positive things is as well is that Henry Cavill is confirmed to be the executive producer on this as the Kevin Feige type. He will be steering the ship. That's another major positive. That's so positive. One thing which I think can also potentially be considered negative is actually Games Workshop themselves. Because Games Workshop are a bit fucking woke, basically. They are a bit fucking woke. And they could be the bad part. But it remains to be seen. We don't know enough information at this point in time. There's potential, some stuff that is going to be great. Potential it's not going to be good as well. So let's take a look at this, right? GameShop announced earlier this week that they have officially inked all of the paperwork and have greenlit a Warhammer 40k universe at Prime Video. Because it wasn't 100% confirmed before. So they said this. Back in December last year, we announced Games Workshop and Amazon Studios had signed an agreement in principle to work together to bring the Warhammer 40k universe to screens big and small. Well, today we have an update, and it's one we've been longing to hear. We've now signed the full agreement, and the next stage can begin. Now comes the fun part, working out all the creative details with our partners and getting the first script written and into production. What Warhammer 40k stories should we tell first? Should we kick off with a movie or a TV show? Both? All we can tell you right now is that an elite band of screenwriters, each with their own particular passion for Warhammer, is being assembled to help bring the setting and characters you love to the screen. This illustrious group will be championed by Henry Cavill, who stands ready to take his place as executive producer, bringing his pen, sword, and or spear to the project. TV and film production is a mammoth undertaking. It's not unusual for projects to take 2 to 3 years from this point before something arrives on screen. Still, things are now properly rolling, and you can bet we'll bring you all the latest updates and cool snippets as soon as we're able to. So, like I said, right, Henry Cavill is the massive positive. As they state here, he is championing the writer's room. He is the executive producer. He is the Kevin Feige type of this world. That is what he's going to be doing. He is controlling this universe, basically. But it's also how much control Games Workshop will give him, because again, Games Workshop's pretty fucking woke. And they buy into all that stuff and they love it. But Henry Cavill doesn't. We know that. So it's whether he will be able to steer that ship correctly or not, and how much control Games Workshop give him, which they are renowned for not giving away much control. Amazon isn't actually the major red flag here. They aren't the major red flag, because they have produced some good stuff. So there you go. On face value, we're getting a Warhammer 40k universe. There's some positives, some negatives. This has to be good, and it has to be gritty. It has to be hard R, because this is one of the most depraved, disgusting universes that you could adapt to film and TV. Like, it's truly disgusting in some parts, right? So you have to do it correctly. So what do we think?
I'm positive. My positive look on it is that Henry Cavill's involved, period. Because I don't think he would have taken on and been a part of this project if they were going to go in a woke or go in a direction that's not true to the actual Warhammer story. And he's a big, huge fan of Warhammer. So the fact that he's involved at all, I think, is a good sign. from the way I'm looking at it.
Okay. Yeah. True. That is positive. Yeah. Him just being around it is pretty positive.
I think his influence as a showrunner and obviously as somebody who I guarantee you will be involved in the project on screen in a big way. I suspect that should lead everybody to believe that this is going to be top notch and will have all of the things that we appreciate in the storytelling here. I think you probably will get a lot of things directly related to the lore and gameplay that exists in this universe. I'm very excited. I'm going to go get my Blood Angels already, and we're going to have a good time.
Go on, Andre, because Warhammer was inspired by 2000 AD, don't you? They literally.
I do, and like 2000 AD, it's in the wrong ownership. Like, because as you said already, Games Workshop is a woke company. So here you have two red flags. One, you have the corporate owner, which is woke, and you have Amazon. And Amazon is hit and miss. And what depends if they're a hit and miss is the project high profile enough that Jennifer Salke, the Kathleen Kennedy of Amazon, is going to give it her personal attention and touch? Then it's going to be horrible. Yeah. Examples of this include the Rings of Power and the Wheel of Time. Whereas Jack Reacher and the hit list, or what it was called, those are examples of stuff that escaped her attention. Something like this, I worry, is going to get her attention. So it's going to have pressure both from Amazon and from Games Workshop to be woke. So then the one thing that you have working in this favor is Henry Cavill. I hope that he has something in his contract that gives him more rights as a producer, that he cannot be overruled, because he is our first, last, and only hope at this point.
Yep. And I want to add one more thing to what Andre was saying. If, say, 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, we get news, Henry Cavill has left the Warhammer project because of what's the
creative
term
differences?
Yeah, creative differences. If we hear that, man, count this show out. It is going to be a disaster if we end up getting that news at some point in time. Hopefully that news doesn't come for all the Warhammer fans out there. But if we hear that, man, go ahead and chalk this thing up as a loss.
Yeah, a major loss. And yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of stuff that they've done, because some people are questioning what they've done that's worked. They've done quite a lot, actually. They sort of like distance themselves from, they try to, didn't they? So they forced or tried to force, what was it, Arch Warhammer or whatever his name was, to remove the Warhammer part of his name because they didn't want to be associated with him and things like this.
Yeah, that's true. We've had him on the channel.
Yeah, and so then they also created a female Space Marine band for all 5 women that play Warhammer now as well, for some unbeknownst bloody reason. There's quite a lot of stuff that they've done. Off the top of my head, I mean, it's quite a lot. Off the top of my head, not massively great on it, but you can Google it, you can take a look. And they also release stupid PSAs, like, well, if you don't like this, then blah blah blah. You know, you're not part of the fandom. It's like, what are you talking about? Getting overly political in certain points and pieces, just nonsense, just absolute nonsense. And that's not even to go into what they do with fan films and how they try to control all of that, and just their outrageously litigious activities that they like to embark on. They're a shit company, basically. So, not good. Not the best people to have with an iron grip on Warhammer. I don't know if you want to sort of add any more to that anyway. No?
For me, I just want it to be good. I want it to be disassociated from all those things that you just mentioned. I want it to be allowed to be a beautiful moment. I want Games Workshop to figure out that maybe they should just sit in a corner quietly and let somebody that knows what the fans want make what the fans want, And I think Andre said exactly what everybody was thinking. Keep Jennifer Salke the hell away from this. Far away. Send her to Egypt or something.
Yeah, or Antarctica.
Yes. She needs to go and do some research in Antarctica for an upcoming possible screenplay that is written or something. I don't.
Yeah, they could send her there to do a series on. Oh, I know it. I know the perfect thing to keep her occupied. You could do a massive, high-budget story about the race to the pole.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. H, what was the name of the British guy who lost to Amundsen? Not Eddington.
I don't even know.
Oh, come on, you must know this.
I don't.
Okay,
Bear Grylls.
Help me out. Like the race to the pole, British guy lost. What was his name again?
Bear Grylls?
No, not Bear Grylls. I mean, this is the race to the pole. I'm talking like 100 years ago.
I honestly don't know. My history on that.
Sir something or another.
Well, either way, basically, it was
Robert Falcon Scott.
Yes, thank you, Robert Falcon Scott. That's the guy. That's the guy. You could do the story of Amundsen versus Scott, race to the South Pole, cast with exclusively black women. I mean, there's a perfect project for Jennifer Salke right there. Just to keep her out of trouble. I mean, that would be so amazing. There you have the Norwegian black woman versus the British gentleman black woman in the race to the South Pole. That'd be amazing. That's a project for her right there, just to keep her out of the way so she doesn't fuck up anything else.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there we go, guys. Maybe some good news. We'll see how it pans out.